Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. I'm delighted to get a chance to talk to you about these new records that Varese Saraband has just released. I'm delighted about these records coming out. Anyway, this is my studio. I work here, I've worked here for many years. This part of the room, I've got a very large room. This part is my synthesizer setup, my studio setup with my keyboards and all that. On the other side, I have my Steinway Grand, and I find myself lately spending more time at the piano. That I love that so much. And Seasons is a piano record, actually. It's me at the piano, getting a chance to play some of my own songs. But it came from a phone call from my friend, Eddie Newmark, who's an old musical buddy of mine. We grew up talking about music together and playing in bands and all that. And he was a producer and ran a record company in New York. And asked me what did I think about doing a single record based on the Pachelbel canon, you know, the D major canon that's so wonderful. It was used in the film Ordinary People, a wonderful film with Robert Redford. And so I liked the idea and started working on that. Ed came out to Los Angeles and we went to Evergreen Studios, which was a studio that I actually built with Artie Butler and Gail Avant. And we ran it for a number of years. It was a wonderful studio. And so it was basically a simple kind of a piano melody based loosely on the canon, but sort of a new melody coming through the wonderful strings and everything that Pachelbel wrote, a very simple kind of a piano melody. And but I used a rhythm section and I used a large string orchestra. And that record was released and on Handshake Records, and really took off like it was going to be a hit record. So it was exciting for me because it was really on the top 100 charts as an instrumental. And as a result of that, we went back in the studio and did a full album. All of my songs, as I said, with some of the songs that are more familiar to people and some of those that I just liked and decided to add to it. And it's all built around the piano with strings and rhythm section. No brass, no woodwinds really. Anyway, that record as an album was originally released by RCA and released around the world. I have a very nice copy that came from Japan and Japanese writing and everything, but somehow was never released in this country. And it was always a disappointment to me, actually, because I liked the record. There was no really way, most people stopped, listening to records, which is how it was done originally. Anyway, Varese Saraband has just released this CD version, and we added to it it was the original record, all the original songs that we did, the original versions, but we added one bonus track. So Killing Me Softly was already on the original track. This year, I had a commission from the Harlem String Quartet and Eddie Daniels to write a clarinet quintet for them. And they performed that in Santa Fe, and they were fantastic musicians. Eddie Daniels, extraordinary, maybe the world's greatest clarinetist and jazz clarinetist for sure. And Harlem String Quartet, just a bunch of great people and a wonderful sounding quartet. And we all became good friends. Anyway, they performed it marvelously, and Eddie asked me if I would come up on the stage and do an encore with them in as much as a premiere. So I wrote an arrangement of Killing Me Softly, and I was at the piano with the clarinet playing Eddie's wonderful jazz solos. I'm really excited about that. And we added that as a bonus track, even though there's now two cuts of Killing Me Softly on the same record. But we added it as a bonus track. I also, in addition, because the first cut was Seasons based on the Pachelbel, the last cut, I put the actual canon of Pachelbel with the string orchestra. It seemed like a nice thing to do, to have bookends like that, the original piece and the piece that I wrote based on it. One of the cuts on the album I'm particularly fond of because Seals and Croft sang a song that Paul Williams and I wrote for a movie called One on One. It was a terrific movie about starring Robbie Benson as a basketball player on a scholarship to college, and his trials and problems entering college and part of the whole quasi-professional sports system. Paul and I wrote, I think, 5, maybe 6 songs. One of them was called My Fair Share, and Seals and Croft sang all the songs. I co-produced that record with Louis Shelton, great guitarist, and Paul. I think that was the first time that Paul and I worked together, and we had a fantastic time, been great friends ever since. We also did The Love Boat later on together and other songs. So Seals and Crofts had a sort of a hit record with this song called My Fair Share, and I wanted to do it instrumentally, which it had been done in the film to some extent also. It was kind of a love theme. So I asked Jimmy and Dash, Seals and Crofts, if they would come and do sing a portion of the song, the chorus really, on my record, and they were delighted to do it. They were great guys to work with, and I can tell you that when I produced their album of One on One, I worked with them day in and day out as their own studio at the time. And it was the only time that I ever brought golf clubs to a recording studio, because Jimmy and Dash were avid golfers, and they would record just a certain point and say, let's go play golf. And in the middle of recording, we'd all shoot off to a golf course and play some golf. Anyway, so I had they too became great friends, and so nothing but good memories for me in this album. This is the new Seasons record. As I said, I'm very excited that it's out on Veracera Band, and actually they have also One on One, which is the songs that the album of songs I wrote with Paul Williams, as well as scoring as well, by the way. That's released by Veracera Band. So welcome again to my studio, and see you next time.